Hey, wonderful you. Are you a cricket fan? Yes, I am. And are you a fan of also Sachin Tendulkar? Of course, who's not? The godfather of cricket and who has redefined at least the passion for cricket for Indian teams, being at such a young age and then played for India and has set so many records. We are so proud about him for whatever he has done for cricket. Of course, there is another part which some of you may not be aware about his other record holding, world record holding, where it's about now was 90s. He was out post his 90s to convert them into century 27 times in all the three formats put together, which is a world record in itself for the debacle of not converting those 90s into centuries. Do you imagine? That many people do not even reach their 90s 27 times, and this gentleman, of course, couldn't convert. And here is Sir Donald Bradman, who never got out post his 90s, 29 times to be precise. So every time he got into 90s, he could easily convert them into a century. So what are those big differences? Because we treat our Tendulkar as a Bradman for India, correct? So what was the reason that there was such a contrast of 27 times Tendulkar getting out just because he was in 90s to convert them into 100? And then here is a gentleman, Bradman, who could convert easily his all 29 centuries when he went into a 90s to convert them into 100. Well, scientists or researchers say that it is analysis paralysis. That means the moment we get into 90s, we get super conscious about ourselves and we start looking at how to make that 100. And we are so conscious about it that we start making too many decisions or too many eliminations and become overconscious. And the best chance for opponent is to do what? They try to ambush, they come closer, and then they try to play with your emotions and you give up. This is exactly the emotional time where our leadership is shown, where our inner emotional guidance is shown. How much are we conscious about the bigger goal of winning the match versus our own personal gain is shown. I'm not delimiting anybody's achievements here, but we all, are we not nervous 90s in our own way? On the delivery date of a project, we are so conscious, we default on some of the deliverables. And probably it's a waterfall method, you know what's a debacle it is. So come the last day, the customer is expecting something else and you created something else and it doesn't match with the needs. And that's why probably the agile method is suggested now. The agile method of working actually gets you to give delivery for every 14th day. In this working method of sprint, what we end up doing is actually getting into the habit of crossing those 90s multiple times. That means we are getting away from the nervousness of analysis paralysis each time we are at the end of the delivery. When you exercise that muscle and you naturally become focused on the goal and the end of the project than on and the delivery itself. And probably this is a great lesson for us to learn from cricket, to forego our own inner needs for fulfilling and become emotionally strong, but getting away from 90s by treating them as our own 50s or 70s and not focusing on that immediate 10 runs or even 2 runs and focus on the bigger goal of winning the match or converting that is what can take it away. Probably if you have found other ways about why we can, how we can avoid nervous 90s and how did Bradman figure out to avoid this problem, do let me know in the comments below. I would be interested to learn even from you. So I hope you can figure out how to come out of this nervous 90s, and especially on the last day when you're supposed to commit for your project, to commit for your new learning, probably on that education, register for some program. Every time you're just there and you give up. Somebody is trying to return your loan, you will say it's okay, give it some other time. What you badly wanted, you somehow give it up. Friends, it's always good to focus on a bigger goal than immediate gains. And that's one way you can go away from this nervous 90s. Hope you loved it, and I look forward for your comments below. Have a great week ahead. Take care and bye bye. Thank you so much.